in the heart of a small African village, inside a mud hut with a roof that leaks when it rains. A baby girl takes her first breath. Her parents are poor farmers, worn down by drought and hunger, yet their eyes glimmer with hope as they cradle their newborn. The midwife leans closer, whispering words that send shivers through the room. This child carries light in her eyes. From that moment, the villagers knew. Zawadi was no ordinary child, but what destiny awaited her. As the seasons passed, Zawadi grew into a child unlike any other in the village, while other children stayed close to their mothers, afraid of the wild. She ran barefoot through the dry dirt tracks, chasing the wind. She climbed the tallest trees without hesitation. Faced the snarling wild dogs at the edge of the fields, Zawadi stepped forward, gripping nothing but a stick, her eyes burning with courage, laughing as the branches swayed beneath her tiny feet. When boys twice her size dared her to, the villagers began to whisper that the girl felt no fear. Zawadi sat close to her grandmother, her small hands resting on her knees, her eyes wide and unblinking. The old woman's voice was soft but powerful, weaving stories older than the village itself. She spoke of spirits bound within sacred drums, of beasts with eyes like burning coals, and of children chosen by fate to face them. Each word was carried by the fire's glow, casting shadows on the walls that twisted and danced like living spirits. The other children would shiver and hide their faces, but not Zawadi. She leaned closer, her heart racing, not with fear but with wonder. Her grandmother paused, staring deep into her granddaughter's glowing eyes, as though she saw something there, something waiting to awaken. "Remember this, little one," she whispered, her voice trembling with both warning and love. "The spirits never choose by mistake." And as the flames flickered, Zawadi felt it. The stories were not just tales, they were a calling. But calling her to what? Not long after her grandmother's stories, Zawadi's nights grew restless. Sleep no longer brought peace, but visions she could not escape. Again and again, she found herself standing before a colossal baobab tree, its roots twisting like giant serpents, its branches stretching so high they pierced the stars. She would jolt awake, drenched in sweat, her heart racing as though she had been running. The sound of the whispers clung to her ears, even in the silence of her hut. Night after night, the same dream returned, pulling her deeper, drawing her closer. Dreams that were not dreams, but callings from the spirit world. Zawadi lay awake under the leaking roof, staring into the darkness, knowing one truth she could not deny. The tree was waiting for her, and soon she would have to answer its call. Evening, as the sun sank low and painted the sky in shades of fire, Zawadi could no longer resist the pull of her dreams, guided by the whispers that had haunted her nights. The wind was heavy. At last she saw it, the baobab tree from her visions. Enormous, ancient, its roots thick and coiled, like the bodies of giant snakes the villagers had long feared this tree, calling it cursed, warning children never to stray near. But Zawadi felt no fear. Instead, she felt drawn as though invisible hands were guiding her steps closer. She reached out, her small hand trembling, as the whispers grew louder, circling her like a storm. For a moment, the world grew still, the birds silent, the air heavy, the sun swallowed by shadow. But what awaited her beneath that tree, a blessing or a curse? At the foot of the ancient baobab, Zawadi's eyes caught something buried in the red soil. A drum cracked and weathered with age, its carvings almost erased by time. She knelt, brushing away the dirt, her fingers trembling as they touched its surface. The moment her skin met the wood, the whispers that had followed her for nights exploded into voices, louder, clearer, surrounding her from every direction. The air thickened, the tree groaned, and the earth seemed to breathe. This was no ordinary drum, it was alive, and it had been waiting for her. From the broken drum, a blinding light burst forth, swirling like smoke and flame. Zawadi stumbled back, shielding her eyes. as a figure began to rise. A warrior tall, broad-shouldered, his body clothed in ghostly armor, his spear glowing with fire. His eyes burned green like stars pulled from the heavens. And then, to Zawadi's shock, the mighty spirit bent to one knee before her. The girl of a poor hut had just been chosen by a warrior of the dead. Its voice thundered like distant drums, shaking the air around her. He spoke of a darkness rising, a serpent spirit, called Nyoka, once trapped within this very drum. Its hunger had returned, and soon it would strike at her people. Then his eyes locked onto Zawadi. "Child," he declared, "you have been chosen. You carry the courage of the ancestors, and only you can face the beast." Her heart pounded. She was just a girl, but destiny had already called her name. Back in the village, unease spread like wildfire. Goats vanished from their pens, wells that once ran deep turned dry, and children fell sick without reason. At night, families huddled close, whispering prayers as strange cries echoed from the forest. And then one evening, hunters returned pale and trembling. They spoke of two glowing red eyes, watching them from the shadows, eyes too large to belong to any earthly creature. The whispers grew louder. The Nyoka had awakened, and it was hungry. One day, as the whispers of the serpent grew louder, Zawadi's grandmother called her to the market, smiling but casting shadows on the old woman's face, her eyes heavy with secrets too long carried. She called Zawadi and gave her a pendant shaped like a serpent, inside lay beads and strip of cloth stained with age. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "Zawadi, you are not just a farmer's child. Our bloodline carries the mark of the spirit keepers, those chosen to guard the balance between the living and the unseen. The Nyoka was trapped once long ago by your great-grandmother." Her grandmother placed the pendant around her neck and whispered, "The spirits have returned to you, child. And now the fight is yours to finish." The jungle at night was alive with silence. Zawadi walked cautiously, the moonlight barely slipping through the canopy above. Every step felt heavier, as though the earth itself was testing her courage. Then the darkness shifted. Tiny yellow lights flickered between the trees, at first just a handful, then hundreds, then thousands, fireflies glowing brighter. Then stars encircled her in a slow, spiraling dance. She froze, breath caught in her chest, as the air grew warm with their golden glow. The swarm thickened, forming shapes, wings, eyes, patterns too ancient to understand, and then one by one they landed gently on her skin, their light sinking into her. Her veins pulsed with warmth, her heart beat stronger than ever before. In that moment, Zawadi realized the fireflies were not insects, they were spirits, and they had chosen her. On her path toward Nyoka's lair, Zawadi came upon a still, moonlit lake. She bent to drink, but the water shifted, and staring back was not her reflection, but a darker version of herself. Its eyes burned red, its smile twisted. The shadow leaned forward from the surface and whispered, "How will you defeat me? You are weak. You are nothing but a farmer's child." Zawadi staggered back, her chest tight, fear clawing at her heart. For a moment, doubt threatened to drown her. But then she felt the pendant against her skin, warm with the firefly's light. She remembered the warrior's voice, the prophecy, the truth that she had been chosen. Deep within the heart of the jungle, the earth began to shudder, trees bent as if bowing to an unseen power, and the air filled with a low, bone-rattling hiss. From the cracks of the ancient earth, a massive shape slithered free, scales black as night, eyes glowing red like molten fire. The serpent spirit Nyoka had awakened from its prison, its hunger echoing through the land. And in the distance, Zawadi felt it. Her chest tightened. The battle she was born for had begun. Zawadi stood firm, the pendant burning at her chest, the firefly's light circling her like armor. With trembling hands, she raised the broken drum. Nyoka's voice thundered through the night, "You cannot bind me again, child." But Zawadi's heart did not falter. She struck the drum, and its echo roared like thunder, shaking the heavens. The jungle fell silent. Nyoka's roar faded into the earth. As the broken drum sealed its spirit once more, the fireflies drifted away into the night, their golden light. Returning to the stars, Zawadi stood beneath the baobab, weary but unbroken, the pendant glowing faintly against her chest. She had faced the serpent and triumphed. From that night on, the people no longer saw her as just a farmer's child. She was the guardian of the drum, protector of her people, keeper of the balance between light and shadow.